Welcome, Loremasters. This is Nors, or Barlam and Butterbur. I appreciate you. Oh, that's wrong. Anyways, I appreciate you wanting or thinking, checking this video out to see if you want to LM for our shared world. I should write a world description. That'd be cool. So I'm going to show you how this is done. I thought about writing a script out for myself, but then I was looking at it, and it seemed like I could just go for it. So I'm going to do that instead. So bear with me. I'm going to teach you how to navigate this situation, or the Foundry, some of the tools that you can use to make your sessions really exciting and immersive, and how to add your own assets and scenes. So if you'd like to be a GM or a LM, just let me know. I'll make a second profile for you that just says something like that guy, GM. That's it. You'll have your own login for that and a different password than your other one, and then you just log in. Alright, so this is what it looks like on the other side of the table as a GM. Here's our map. It's quite nice. Here are all the different scenes that I have sort of active right now. I know it's a lot. I play with 2 screens, and right now I'm just making this video on 1 screen, and so that's a thing. So first off, we're going to focus on these tools. We've got just the select tool. It's very simple. You can select things like this, and then you can move things around. That's all. Target. You can target things, but I'll get into that in a second. And then the measurement tool, which is pretty standard, but tell you the truth, I don't think I've ever used this measurement tool on during play in the One Ring, because measurements aren't really as important, like say in 5e. Measurement controls, here's a way that you can measure controls differently, like a blast effect or something like that. You can always just click on something and push delete and it will go away. Again, I've not had to use these, but you are welcome to. It is all up to you how you want to use these types of things. Yeah. So again, this is like sort of blocking something out. I've never used it before. I don't need to. This is sort of handy. Just being able to scribble something, I think, is quite nice. Or if you want to create a circle of some sort, it can be handy in certain situations. The next one is really, really handy. This is walls. So this is for dynamic lighting. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like here. This is a map that I used the other day. I just set up some walls to make it so that my characters couldn't see around these things. This is the wall settings. You just click and drag. That's all you do. You can always Control Z if you just want to delete one thing. What does this do? Terrain walls. So this could be for like this. This might work. So something like that. You got invisible walls. You've got ethereal walls, so walls that you can't see. You got doors, and then you got secret doors. Secret doors are pretty cool. So you can have a door. So let's say this like little hole here is shut. You're just going to go like that. Now that's a door. So if I go like this, you can see that the door is there, and you can open it, and players can open it as well, and they'd be able to see that. If I go back here, I can take that away. Well, maybe I can't. I'm just opening it, closing it. So I got to select it again and delete it. There we go. But you can also toss down a secret door, which would just make it look like it is. And that looks like that. You can open and close it, obviously, as the GM, but player characters or players won't be able to see this on their side of the table, which is pretty nice, I think. That's pretty cool. Secret doors is pretty awesome. What's this one? Clone walls. You can clone things. Force snap to grid. I never use snap to grid. I would say don't, because the grid is sort of irrelevant in the One Ring, but it's up to you. The next thing, and I love this, is lighting. There's so many cool features that you can use. You can't really see this right now. Let's change it up. We'll go like that. There, now it's all ghostly and weird and sort of shimmery. This is also daytime and nighttime. So you can make things lighter or you can make things very dark. And as you can see, as things darken, this effect is going in, is changing everything, right? So it's like this weird, ooh, that's very cool. I like that. You can change this all through here, how big it is, all that stuff. You can also change the type of effect you want. I want a light dome. Boom. There we go. Light dome. That's cool. Advanced options. I've never even played around with this, so I'm not sure. Your guess is as good as mine. I love the different animations. So ghostly light. No, that one's lame. Black hole. Ooh, that's neat. Anyways, a lot of different things you can use this with. Now, if you just want to get rid of this, boom, I did that. But oh shoot, no, I want it to come back. I click and I drag. So I clicked where I wanted the light to start and I drag it out. Boom, it's back. And then I can go here. You can go here. I can go torch. I could go back to here and go, oh, my torch should be like a slightly orangish or yellowish or reddish. Something like that. Now it gives it a slight hue, right? Something like that. It's quite nice. I think this is an awesome feature. I encourage you to use it. Boom. I'm going to just delete that real quick, and I'm going to turn this on. Lighten it up. It's going, it's going. Again, there's one last thing, and that is the sound feature. And this is really good. Sound is blocked by walls, so remember that. But this is super cool. You can put ambient sound in, source file. You'd click here. My assets. Back. There we go. You can go to sounds, or you can go to OST. So I have, I think, all of the songs from the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers in here. You can pick your choice, whatever you want to do. Or you can go to, oh, not tunes, that's wrong, sounds. I have a lot of like ambient sounds. Some of them are better than others. I've used them a little bit, but tell you the truth, after trying to use them a couple times, I'm feeling like it didn't really give me the vibe I wanted. I went back to just doing this, just using music, like low. And I'll show you how to like change the volume and all that in a second. So that's really all you need to know for these. Oh, that's not true. One last thing, we're going to go back to this. So I've put music all over this in different spots. There's different songs for each place, or some of the same songs for each place. It doesn't really matter. Lastly, the journals. So if I went through. I think I went through the core rulebook, not the other, the Ruins of the Lost Realm yet. But I went through the core rulebook and like copy and pasted all the descriptions of the different places that they had in that book. So it just seemed like a good idea. So there's like small descriptions of all these different places, or long descriptions, as the case might be. Now, I even like populated like Weathertop with one of these. Which is nice. I haven't expanded that in other areas. I've also got certain things are like have links, like Fitch Taltree is a character, NPC that I linked because he's important to our chat, things like that. So yeah, all of these can be found in the journal entries, but we'll get to that in a second. All right. Let's talk about the different maps and how to use them. So you, as the GM, can just click on one and it goes. Cool, there we go, right? To move the active, so this target means that the area door map is active. To move everyone along, you just click that. Now everybody is on this goblin cave. You are obviously totally free to use the maps that I have on here already. It's up to you. Some of them are from just online, different Patreons. Some are from, as you can see, the core book itself. I just screenshotted it. And none of this is going to be to scale if anyone has a token. It's more of just like being able to look at something and things like that. So I've copy and pasted Tharbad in here if your characters decide to go to Tharbad. Things like that. I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to activate this. Oh, there are a couple of my characters from last session. Delete those. I have here on this screen, this is just the title screen where I let like sort of the landing page, and I just ask when ready, put token in the red ring so people can click and drag their tokens over to the red ring. This does a couple things. Makes sure it allows me to know that they have vision on their token, but also lets me know that they have control of their token. So we'll get into tokens in a second. I think that's... Oh yeah, I even found a map of Wilderland from 1E and tossed it on here in case anyone goes east of the mountains. It's up to you. Yeah. All right, I think that's all for that. Now let's talk about this area and these little tabs up here. Public role, I think everybody knows that. There's private GM role, self role, and blind role. I don't know what those are. I always just private GM role if I don't want my players to see it. So I think it's a role to myself and I'm the GM, so whatever. But yeah, you can change that as you like. Here are the dice that you might need. If you're using rollable tables, we'll get into that because I've manually put in a lot of rollable tables myself. So you'll be able to access those and just click a button and have it roll. I don't use macros. I've not set that up. If someone wants to take on making macros, more power to you. I would really appreciate the help. I don't really know how they work, frankly. Next thing is the initiative tracker. We will get into initiative in a second or in a bit once maybe we cover tokens at the same time, because since I don't have any tokens out, it doesn't really make sense to cover initiative. Here are the maps. Here are most of the maps that I have active. I also have some battle maps. If you decide to upload a battle map, please put it in the battle map folder. World maps, this is sort of a battle map, and images you can just leave in here. I'm not really concerned about organizing them too much, considering they're like more overviews, but battle maps should go in the battle map folder. To upload a battle map, you click on the battle map folder, you click here, it says, what do you want to name it? You say name, and then you create new scene. It will ask you some things, but the main thing is the background image. You'd go into your computer. Please go to My Assets. Oh, we're in My Assets. There we go. We'd go to, I thought I had Maps. Here we go. And put your map into this folder. I really don't want to have a bunch of different folders for maps. I just want to keep them all in one place, obviously. Okay. Once you've done that, here I'm going to go back to Lair in the Weather Hills. This is sort of like an old school OSR map that I made that I thought was, or I didn't make it, but used that I liked. It's very dark. Let's brighten it up. There we go. And at this point, you can set out your different walls. As you can see here, what I did, I wrote these all up. Put doors across here. There's no secret doors. There's just open doors and closed doors. And then I did some lighting as well, as you can see. And there's some characters here that I don't play with anymore. Actually, that's not true. I play with most of them. There's one that I don't. Anyways, so that's that's that. You can obviously set up your own dynamic lighting if you see fit. There's no obligation to use dynamic lighting if you don't want to. It is another layer of lore mastering that if you're like, man, that just sounds like a lot of work, I don't really have time for that, totally fine. Same with music. Yeah, you can play simply, you could have the whole session take place on the landing page and just use a theater of the mind approach, and that's totally fine with me. It's really up to every GM or LM to decide what's going to work for them. So that's that. I think that's maps. All right, next. This is the actors directory. Now there's a lot of things here. There are adversaries, so all these different people. There's some people from like the Dunland Chiefs. They're from Ruins of the Last Realm. Most of these are from the core rulebook. There's a couple characters that I made myself just for fun, like Ronia Brocht is a character I sort of dreamed up. Nameless Things, I rolled this Nameless Thing up just for fun. All the orcs, and yeah, some more self-creations. I was thinking about using Gollum for something, but then I decided not to, and I never really finished him. Undead, all this stuff. Now, if you open one of these guys, boom, there they all are. It is very simple. They should be all the correct stat blocks. I have put a lot of legwork in to make sure that these are pretty perfect. Distinctive feature. I don't know if this little guy has a distinctive feature. I'm going to have to check that and maybe get back to you. Yeah, because this guy has a distinctive... Okay, I'm sure that marsh dwellers have distinctive features. As I said, they're all correct, and then there's one that's... The one that I'm showing you is not completely finished. So... some of these are characters that are mentioned in the core rulebook. Some are just like the basic beasts that you can find. Oh, and this guy's even, the burnt beast is from the starter set. So there are all your monsters. Feel free to create other nameless things. You can roll them up and make a character for them. So to do that, you'd go here, you'd go monster, you'd go adversary, boom, here's your blank monster stat block. Okay, you'd fill these things out as so. For armor, you just go to, when you go to armor, you'd go here, just like building a character, and go armor. And just actually just, so there's one character, that nameless thing I made had a 5 armor defense, so I just made 5 armor defense, and I just dragged it into there. That's how that works. So, and then you'd create combat skills. You would go to weapons and go to beastly attacks and toss that into the weapons thing. It's just a drag and drop, just like creating a character. I think once you've created a character on here, it's probably pretty simple to create a monster because there's just way fewer options. Monsters are pretty simple in their presentation. I'm gonna delete this. So that's the monsters. Let's see, what else do we need? NPCs. Here are some NPCs. Some of them are from the core rulebook. Some are from different the starter set. Some are just people I made up, things like that. Some are sort of like factions or communities that I wanted to use. So like the Witch King of Angmar community, things like that. You're welcome to make your own. Player heroes. So this is starter set heroes because I've run the starter set on this server. Test hero, that's just my character. Unlocked characters for the starter set. And here are the West Marches heroes. We've got a lot. I need to get on people to send me pictures so I can update their images. So at the beginning, like when you're prepping a session, say you're playing with Golan and Sphere, you just drag them out there. The players, when they log in, they should see this. They should be able to move their characters around and all that. Okay? It's pretty simple. I suppose you could create new characters, and at some point I might have mods that help me do that, and just help me create new blank character sheets. But for now, I'm just doing it. It's not that big a deal. It's not that hard to do for me. So I'm getting pretty good at it. Please do not delete any character sheets. I think that's a big point that I should have mentioned right away, just in case. This is solo play. I had aspirations to play solo with the supplement, the Strider mode, but I just never did. All right, equipment. I think you've probably seen these in the character creation. Save for traveling gear. Traveling gear is the useful items. I have a lot of them. You shouldn't really have to delve into this stuff too much unless you're creating a character that you feel like you need these things. Here are fell abilities for your monsters, distinctive features. There's adversaries, distinctive features of adversaries, things like that. There's flaws, that's for characters, rewards, virtues. Okay. I do have a treasure index of things that might come up at some point. Since we're using an idea that people get to make their own magical items and then sort of enlist other people to help find them, we probably won't be using it. But that's where I'll keep them. Sweet song guitar, things like that. Okay. Here we go. Character creation. Here are all the handouts that I've made. This is mostly for the starter set. This is the character creation stuff. You've probably seen most of this. This is Describe, a module I downloaded that just gives you, you can just click on this and it's arid. What do I need to describe? It'll just give you a block text that you can read. Tell you the truth, I don't use them in session, but if I'm thinking about how do I describe something, they make a bandit. I want to describe a bandit. I'll read this and then I'd write my own description somewhere else. And then I'd use my own description that's sort of more suited to what I'm doing. Okay, so you're welcome to use these in any way you want. And then handouts, I did that. Rules reference. So these are a bunch of rules that the player characters or players have access to if they need reminders about something. Knockback rules, things like that. You can always just pop this open and take a look. Session notes. I like writing out session notes. I just write small descriptions. I write an overview. I write descriptions of things, and that's it. It's pretty free flowing after that. So lately, if I go on, if I think there's going to be a journey in the thing, I write out a day-by-day thing that happens just so there's some flavor, but that's totally up to you as the Loremaster. You don't have to do that. World. Here are all the assets that are peppered all over the map. My dog is trying to catch a fly. Sorry, I started laughing. You might not need that. For GM, this is different rules that really are for the LM only, Loremaster eyes only type of thing. Misdeeds, what does that do? Oh yeah, okay. Perilous actions, sources of dread, things like that. All right. If you want to add more rule references in, feel free. Please do not delete any of them. Rollable tables. So this is for character creation. Event tables. I like these a lot. It's just a very simple who is it going to affect or the event when you're on a journey. Pretty simple. Fortune. This is from Strider mode. And I'm going to show you these all in a different format. Lore, also from Strider mode. Nameless things. This is something I started but never finished, so don't worry about that. I just didn't have the wherewithal to put in all the nameless things tables. There's a lot of them. Shire. If they're in the Shire and you need some in gossip, you can always just click on here. Boom. Here's some in gossip. You can do Shire Journey event. That's from the starter set. And lastly, You've got At the Prancing Pony, like rumors, encounters on the East Road, ruins along the Greenway, ruins and stones in the North Downs, traveling in the Chatwood, and troll holes in the Troll Shaws. So there's some things there as well. Nothing in here. Here is the music. So this is your global volume control. You got your playlist, you got your ambient, you got your interface. Okay. So if you have a playlist going right here, this is going to control that. The ambient is the music on the map. So if I go here and I put music into this, the ambient is that sound. The interface, I don't know what that is. I've never played with that. So I do ask that you do not change anything on the area door map in terms of the sound and whatnot, because I don't want to have to do it over again. Other maps are free game. You can change them around, change them up, all those things. Oh, this is still there. Can I kill this? I guess I have this blank map in here. There we go. Sorry, I got distracted. So that's how you do those things. Here's macros that I really haven't used. This is mostly just like I used for getting assets into the game. And here's the settings. Please do not edit world. Please do not manage modules. Everything's set up so that this is going to work hopefully really well. If someone does do that, I don't know how to roll it back. It's just going to take me a lot of time. If you end up screwing with the game, we'll probably have to have a talk. I don't think anyone's going to do that. I think everybody's here for the same reasons, to have fun, to DM, to have a blast, right? So that's that. Last thing before I say farewell, GM screen. I love this. This is amazing. It's just the rules references. All those rules references that I mentioned are all right here. This is like what is on the actual GM screen, physical, but it's quite nice. You also got PCs. So if you are playing, let's say we're playing with Esma, I can put her character sheet in here, and Fingon, right? That's why I like to have a decent amount of space. So I just have PCs and PCs too, which I do the same thing with. It's really handy. You can just click and drag their character sheets into here, and then all their data is linked, and you can just bring this up whenever you need it to take a look. So I think that's pretty slick. Combat actions, different things you're allowed to do, like the core combat sequence, how Piercing's blows works, combat tasks, all the things that you need to know about attack roll, action resolutions, special damage options, those things. Adversaries, you can click and drag adversaries into these so that you could have them up, or like if you're like, I know that I'll be using these characters. That's pretty nice. Just a couple quick notes about Shadow, what causes it, how they avoid it, things like that. Eye and Hunt. The eye, sort of how the eye continue, eye score goes up. Starting eye score, revelation episode, if they reach their hunt threshold or go mad. Hunt modifiers, hunt thresholds, eye awareness, things like that. Journeys, I use this one constantly. Now, I've linked the tables in here, so you can go over here. I'm just going to do it like that. You can just roll right from here, which is pretty nice. So I just click this dice, and boom, there it is, my mishap, which is pretty sweet. You can do the same thing right down here just to see who it is. I always pre-roll. I pre-roll all of my events just because I'm not good at thinking on my feet that quickly. I use these two tables as well as aspect and focus to sort of get an idea of what these events might be like. You can also use if the good fortune or bad fortune. So if there's good fortune in an event roll, you can roll on the good fortune thing. You encounter an opportunity suited to your nature or abilities. Sounds great. Doesn't sound bad, does it? Or you can do the other one. I don't know why it's lagging so much. Oh, because my internet just died. And now it's back. Now it's back. So last thing we need to talk about is how to run combat, because it is a little tricky. Let's go to mapping canvas just because it's like completely blank and easy to use. If it loads, we'll use a corrupted human, and we need a hero. We'll use Esma. So you'll probably be playing with some players who haven't used Foundry before, and so this can become it can be pretty clunky when you first learn it. The first time I ran, it's like learning the rule set, but then also learning the functionality of Foundry is quite difficult. The first thing you got to do is you got to select the people that who are entering combat, and you click that button, as this sword and shield. That loads them into the thing, the encounter thing. Now, the first thing you'll see is this stuff, and here's the opening volley. So the first thing that happens is the opening volley, right? Both characters are rushing in at each other. They're going to shoot an arrow or two at each other, right? So the first thing you got to do is, before you can make an attack, you must target a character. You can do that by either right-clicking and pushing this, which is the target, and you see these orange things pop up, or you can just scroll over the token and push T, and that will target it. Very handy. I love that. T, 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 T. Cool. Once you are targeted, you go to a character sheet, and you can scroll down. Oh, this person doesn't have a ranged weapon, but that's fine. We'll still just use this as an example of any attack. And you click on sword. So a lot of players who haven't used Foundry in this module before will click up here at combat proficiencies. That doesn't work. The reason it doesn't work is it will make a roll, but it will only make the roll against their strength TN. It will not take into consideration the stats of the creature they're fighting. This creature doesn't have any parry, but a lot of creatures do, and that should be added to the TN they're rolling against. Okay? There's also a lot of automation that happens when you roll this. So I'm going to roll this, and it's only giving me 1, but I really want to hit, so I'm just going to show you what this looks like when I hit someone. Okay, that's exactly how I wanted this to go. That's why I used so many dice. So I roll a bunch of dice, and I get a 6 on one of my success die, which then triggers this pop-up window. This pop-up window lets me decide per my weapon what special damage I'd like to do. So I'm using a sword. I can do a heavy blow, which will deal extra damage to the endurance of my enemy. I can fend off, which means I deal the normal amount of damage, but I also add 2 to parry against the next attack. And piercing blow. I can add 1 to the feat die to try to beat 10. To try to get that piercing blow. That's obviously not going to happen because I got a 6, right? So I could select fend off. All right. So Esma attacks using her sword. I deal 2 damage, and it shows how this worked. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if it automates the fend off if the other person then attacks me. We're going to find out. We'll close that. The thing is, so you can see that it says that it does 4 damage, but it does not take it away from this. So as the GM, you'd have to go in here and go, okay, they took, now they're down. Now they're down to 12, right? Which is fine. But at least it does a lot of this other stuff for you. So we'd go back here. We'd say, okay, it's an opening. We're going to begin combat. Let's say it's this fellow's turn. And at the beginning of the round, you always have characters, player characters, pick their stance. Their stances are here, so they just need to right click, and they need to forward, which adds 1d to their attack, but also makes it so enemies get 1d attacking them. Open, no bonus, or Bane, and they get a Bane to offense, but a bonus to defense, and then rearward. Now, I could get into like actually how the rules of One Ring work, but I'm going to assume that everybody has at least the PDF of the core rulebook and can run that themselves. So if I'm now this character, say, I'm going to attack this character, I'm going to see if the parry thing works, or if the fend off works automatically and is automated. I'm going to go like that. I don't think it does, but you never know. So I needed to hit 17. Let's bring this up. Oh, no. Oh, there's the parry. So it did not take into consideration, because here's shield and 15. It didn't take into consideration that she used fend off. So it should have been a score of 19 that my character was trying to beat. I got 20 anyway because I rolled so many dice just because I wanted to see if I could hit, and that's that. But I did not get a piercing blow or any 6s on success die, so I don't get any like special damage. It would just be the 3 or the 4 damage that I dealt. Okay, that's it. If you do not have a character targeted, it won't work. It'll give you an error message. If a character rolls on their combat proficiency rather than their weapon, it will not set it against this. Here, I'll show you. So if I rolled this, it just gives me sword, 16. I failed. But it doesn't give me like this attack result box, which is just really handy, especially when you get into wounds. So let's see. What else? I think that's it. That is all there is to know. I'm sure I've forgotten something. If I have, send me shoot me a text, a DM, or even just mention it. Hey, how do you do blank in the general thing? Because if you have the question, there's very likely another few people who also do. Okay, and I want people to be able to get their own answers. So maybe if I'm answering your question, it means I'm also answering someone else's, and that's great. Let's see, anything else? I'm just checking. You click this to every single round, you get new stances, so I'm just toggling back and forth. When the combat's over, end combat, yes, just takes them out of it, or it should, end combat. There we go. All right, that's it. I hope this was helpful. Good luck.